Okay.
Hello everybody, here we are, Lisa Quilting in the Valley. We're here for part 3 of our Winding Ways quilt. So this will be the third tutorial we've got for this quilt. And I'm going to talk about the applique at this point. So I have put together this little document here for you. This little template right here is for the leaves. And then this little template right here is how you cut these corners. Okay, this right here, where you put the extra border on these two places, you're going to mirror the exact same curve for the scallop portion of the block that you use. So you're just going to do this exact same thing here, and then you'll use this template to finish off that little square that you added in the corner. And that gets you that cute little pointy thing there. On this, I've got your directions for making a bias tube. So I did not needle turn both edges of this. I made a bias tube and then turned it inside out and stitched it down. I did hand stitch this. If you don't want to hand stitch this, that's fine. Go ahead and put it where you want it. And if you can see, I overlapped in the corners, so they kind of went like this in the corners. And then I just kind of made a gentle curve going down to the other corner. And I did hand stitch it with an invisible applique stitch on both sides. If you don't want to do that, you could machine stitch it. Use your blind hem stitch to do that. You want to do that before you have it quilted, obviously, because you don't want that stitch coming through on the bottom. But you could do a blind hem stitch, and that would be practically invisible, especially if you use the exact same color as the fabric for your vine. Okay? So on this, you're going to make the bias tube, so cut it at a 45-degree angle on your fabric, and you want to make that bias tube because it just makes it so much easier to lay flat when you do those curves. Turn it inside out. When you press it, you want to make sure that the seam is underneath. So you don't want the seam to the side here or to this side. You want it underneath all of that so that your seam doesn't show. That way you don't have to needle turn both sides under. All right. Did that. Leaf appliques, that's this. It's just this little template. So I have got these in sets of 3, and I put it kind of, when my curve came out on my vine, I put them right centered on that inner curve. And I put 3 of them, I just overlapped them and did the exact same thing. I have hand pieced these down, but you could use that blind hem stitch on your machine to stitch those down by machine if you'd prefer. In the corners, I did 5. So there are 5 leaves in the corner. And then you can also see that I have got the yo-yos with the button on top of them with pretty much every leaf set. You can do that or you can not do that. That's up to you. I'm going to show you real quick how to use the yo-yo maker. You can make yo-yos by hand, but this is an awful quick way to do this. Okay, so you're going to take your piece of fabric and you're going to take this thing. So it's a 2-piece set. Comes like that. You're going to take this thing, which is the inner portion, and you're going to put this right around there. And if you look on your yo-yo maker, on the inside of it, there's one little lump, another little lump, and another little lump. And if you look at this, you've got a line, a line, and a line. So what you want to do is you want to line those up. These lines, you want to line up right with that little lump. And then just snap it down in here. And I'm actually going to get a pair of scissors because this is too big. So give me just a second. Okay, so I don't want all of this gathered up in the middle because it'll make it kind of fat. I just want enough turned under that I can do a nice yo-yo. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off about a 1/4 inch all the way around. So you want your 1/4 inch showing. about. So you want about 1/4 inch, and that'll make it a nice yo-yo. Then you're gonna take 2 threads with a nice knot underneath, and you're gonna come in here, and if you look on this side, you're gonna do this from the front. See how there's a solid piece and then there's kind of like a little divot right there? You're gonna come up in that little divot and go down in the same one. The biggest mistake you can make is to go over that, because then how are you gonna get it off of there? And you're gonna go all the way around in those open holes. Well, maybe there. And then I'm kind of holding my seam allowance under with this hand. This is going to make a nice even gathering stitch. You're going to go all the way around in all of those open holes. And if you use a thread that matches, you'd be better off. I'm using a white thread so that you can see it. But use a thread that matches whatever color petal you're putting on, or yo-yo, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm back around to the start. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come through this one again. So this is where I started. Okay, now I'm going to pop this out of there. And there's my yo-yo. And I'm going to take my fingers and just pull my seam back off of that. So now I have this all basted up, and I'm going to pull. Turn your seam to the inside. And there you have a perfect little yo-yo. About as easy as you can make those. And I can take, if I have my matching thread on, I can take my same thread and I can just come right down in here and I can stitch that to where I want it to stay on my quilt top. Okay? Easy peasy. This is not difficult. These come in different sizes. This is number 8700. They're from Clover. So it's Clover number 8700 yo-yo maker. And it makes this size, which is cute as a button. And you can do all kinds of things with little yo-yos. And I think these are $7.99 if I'm not mistaken. So if you want one of these, give us a holler. We'd be happy to get one for you. In the meantime, this document that I'm referring to with the templates and everything, I will load onto this video. If you know how to download a document off of YouTube, you'll be able to get it there. If you don't know how to do that, then I'm going to have you sign up for my Patreon page. On my Patreon page, it's patreon.com, and you're going to look for Quilting in the Valley's newest creations. And I will post this video link there, and I will put the document there as well. It's a little bit easier to find things on Patreon than it is on YouTube. Okay, that's it for this one. We will have one more video on this quilt where I'm going to talk about how to do that bias binding so that you get the nice corners on all the scallops. See you then.